And welcome to another edition of the Vulcan Sportswire. I'm Gary Smith and joined, as always, with Sports Information Director Matt Kiefer. Matt, I'm glad you're awake because I know you had a busy week, and anytime you're not statting games, I assume you're either playing with the boss or trying to get some sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty much basically what it is anymore. It is work, take care of the little one, and try to get some Z's. And not necessarily in that order, and one definitely gets more attention than the other. And you probably can guess that Z's are probably the ones that gets the least amount of the attention.
Yeah, Z's is definitely not going to be on the medal podium. Lucky if you get some sleep in the bronze medal position. But while you're up, we're going to not beat around the bush too long. We're going to get right into the action. Matt, it was a busy weekend last week, and we're going to start with softball against Clarion. Once again, California in the midst of Psac West play, and they had a 4-game set. Split up a little bit due to weather, but a 4-game set started on Saturday against the Clarion Golden Eagles.
Yeah, exactly as we said every time on the show right now. It is literally the entire spring schedule is to stay crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. You have dates scheduled, but you have no guarantee of when you're going to play. So they ended up starting the series with the Golden Eagles on Saturday. And, again, it's one of those things. Clarion, as we stated with IUP, they are in the Central Division the last couple of years. So it's been a while since we faced them. But, again, Cal came out impressive. They swept the doubleheader at home. Had 2 run rule victories, which is always the unique thing when you're watching a game. If you're not paying attention to the scoreboard, you just see, a run score, and then just play stops. So it's a very unique element in sports. But they got 2 wins, 11-3 and 9-1 over the Golden Eagles. In game 2, starting pitcher Kelsey Barron allowed just 2 base runners, tossed a complete game victory. Gave up 1 run, only 1 hit. So she actually got PSAC West Pitcher of the Week for that performance. And then after taking a couple of days off, they were actually back on the diamond yesterday, being Tuesday. And much different story. Obviously, game, as I said, Saturday was 2 run roll games. They had to post 2 comeback victories. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th in game 1 to win, 11-1. And in game 2, they had to score 4 runs in the top of the 7th and ended up winning 9-7. So totally different ends of the spectrum there, where one game maybe you almost be on cruise control when you're just absolutely dealing and shutting them down, winning by 8+ runs. And the game, second doubleheader, you were fighting and clawing for the last out to try to get that lead. And they were able to finish off the 4-game sweep with Clarion, which is exactly what you need, given how the tournament is going to be structured for the conference this year and playing so many divisional games. If you can sweep an opponent, you sure as heck need to when you have the chance to.
And let's take a look at the highlights from the Saturday doubleheader win against Clarion at Lilly Field. Here's the pitch. Henderson pops it up. Second baseman goes out. And it's misplayed, so the play will be at second. They'll get the force at second, but the run comes home. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, and that ends the inning. A great job of pitching right there. 0-1 pitch. Swung it right back through the middle. We'll see if there's a play at the plate. Runner's going to be waved home. Here's the throw to the plate, and it'll be up the line, and that's a run for the Vulcan. Here's the pitch, and she takes it to left field. Back goes the left fielder, and it is over the head. That's going to score a few runs. 1 run scores. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle as we see the run score. Here's the pitch. There's a shot to left center field. It's going to be in the gap, and it's going to score some runs. That's going to bring 1 run home. Throw to the plate. California waving the 2nd run home, and that'll be a 2-run double for Paige Wilson. And there's a shot to left field. Going back to the wall. It's going to get in the gap, and that's going to score some runs. 1 runner comes home for the Vulcans. Slapped into left field, and that'll be a base hit. Coming across the score will be Henderson and make the score 8-3. Great play in left field. There's a shot. That's going to get into that's going to score a run as it goes into foul territory. Throw to the plate. Canari's going to take a free base. 0-1 pitch. Swung on it. That's going to be knocked into the left center field, and that's going to score a run. Make it 11 as Wilson puts up the 11th run of the game. Ball right up to the second baseman. Throw to second, throw over to first, not in time. They will get the out at second, but a run will come through. There's a shot down to right field. That's going back, going to be caught, but that'll be deep enough to score the run. There's the pitch slapped into right field, and that will bring a run, a nice base hit as we see the run score for a single for the pinch hitter, Brittany Wilson. Here's a pitch slapped into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Score a run for the Vulcans. Henderson hits a flare to second base, and it will be dropped, and the run will come across. Here's a pitch. Ground ball off the third baseman, and that's going to get a run home for the Vulcans. Throw to the plate is not going to be in time. There's a shot to the left center field. That's going to get down in the alley. One run's going to come through, and that will make the score 7-1. Here's the pitch, swung on. Back to the pitcher, looks it back. Runner will come through. Here's the pitch, swung on. Fly ball to center field, should be deep enough to score a run. Here's the throw to the plate, and she will score. And that will do it. That will earn the run rule, make it 9-1, and California will win the second game of the doubleheader by the score of 9-1. As we talked about, there was a dominant victory pair of victories on Saturday, California with the run rule, but then on Tuesday at Clarion eked out a pair of comeback victories. And Matt, as we're going to take a look at the PSAC standings right now, California finds himself in the early going right in the midst of things.
Yeah, I mean, one of those things, they've got 3 series under their belt with Gannon, the preseason favorite, which is now 3-5. I don't think a lot of people expected that one. IUP, again, they basically split with that one. They're 8-4, and Cal U 9-3. So they're sitting right where they need to be. They still got a couple contests coming up. Slippery Rock, a 4-game set. UPJ, those 2 teams only have 3 wins so far in the conference combined, and Edinburgh only has 3 total too. So hopefully there's some games there, 12 games, you can make some damage there, because when you face Seton Hill, you're going to have to make sure you try to split every doubleheader you can with the Griffins, because they are going to be right at the top of it, given their facility, given their funding, given how that program has been the last couple of years. They're going to be one of the favorites, even with the idea of the merging of the Central Division half and half with the East and the West. And in the East, I mean, you're looking right now, Shepherd's undefeated, which is interesting just for the aspect of they didn't really get a chance. You saw Shepherd join the PSAC last year in football, basketball, but baseball and softball never got their basically legs in the conference, so nobody knew really where they'd sit. So it'll be very interesting on the east side, seeing how they go, especially given Westchester's has been the dominant program in the PSAC for the last 4 or 5 years.
And that's the wrap-up for softball. Moving along to another sport, we're going to kind of go chronologically what happened this past weekend. And on Saturday, while the doubleheader of softball was going on, the Vulcan tennis team was in action across the Roadman Park complex. And we know for a fact that they could hear the music coming from softball.
Yeah, they're definitely one of those things. And the new setup with Lily Field, the new sound system, everything about it is different. So it's going to create some different elements and dynamics there. But for tennis, I mean, everybody knows softball been away for a really, really, really long time, over 1,000 days. But tennis, given how everything went last year in playing the fall season exclusively on the road, just because how the schedule worked out, they hadn't had a home match in almost 700 days. So it was a big one there for them at least to be able to come home. They played Fairmont State, a in-region opponent. Fairmont actually is 2-1 this year. Their only loss being to Mercyhurst, who's one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the PSAC every year. So the Fighting Falcons came in, and again, a very reputable program in the MEC, and then they ended up claiming a 7-0 victory over the Vulcans. But it's nice to see CalU back at home, getting all these sports back in their way, and getting that rotation of home schedules for everybody to get a chance to play on campus or at least at their home facilities.
And it was nice to see all the activity going on at Roadman Park between Lilyfield and the tennis complex, because it actually felt like we were back almost to normal. I know we've said that a couple times, but every day we get events like that, it feels more and more normal. And speaking of events, we're not done yet with the weekend. The Vulcan baseball team in action. Couple games over the weekend against IUP, and then they had a Tuesday game against Salem.
Yeah, well, again, sorely I did. Bats were going early. They won an 18-3 victory over IUP. They had 11 hits, which you're like, wow, that's crazy. He scored 18 runs on just 11 hits. Seems awkward, but Cal drew 13 walks in the contest. So anytime you force an opponent to go that deep into the bullpen and throw that many pitches in a weekend, you're definitely setting yourself so good for not only that game, but the game after. And again, Junior, it's hard to say his position because he's playing everywhere right now. Jacob McCaskey had 6 RBI in the win. Patrick Brogan had a couple hits in the game, including a home run. Jax Miller started at the age of that game, had a couple hits. So a lot of different Vulcans, when you score 18 runs, the 11 hits are going to contribute in one way or another. And then coming back on the next day, they were home for that home-and-home single game non-conference. Again, everybody keeps asking, well, how's it not conference? They got a 6-5 win. They had that lead early. IUP had a big 4th inning, tied the game up, and Vulcans got a run in the 5th. So sort of like the softball words of one end of the spectrum goes the opposite the next time you play the team. But they got that 6-5 win over IUP at Wild Things Park on Sunday to finish off the 2-game sweep over IUP.
And we were there for the action on Sunday. Here are the highlights from Cal IUP at home at Wild Things Park.
Nice pitch. Swing and a miss, and he is sat down for out number 3. Nice pitch coming. This one driven out in the center, not able to be corralled, and he will get to home. Sliding through it, another run will get in. This one driven out left side. It will be on the ground. Loses control of it. Can't get it there, and Brogan will get in for yet another run for the Vulcans in the bottom of this 2nd inning. This pitch driven out there towards center, and that will be right down the middle for a base hit. He will try to make it to 2nd. Can he get there in time? Plenty of time as he's safe at 2nd. This pitch. Get in there at home plate. Will he be safe? He is. And he will be safe at 2nd. The pitch coming. Driven out towards center field. This one's going deep. And it will stay in the park, but he's got a base hit and a run in. This one's driven out. Fielded. Can he get there in time? Yes, it will. And that one in there for a strike. That retires the side. Swing and a miss, and that will retire the side. Cassie's pitch. Driven out to 3rd. He's going to tag it out at 3rd. Can he get it to 1st in time? It will be an out. So a double play for the Vulcans, and that retires the side at the top of the 8th. McCaskey swung up high. Can he come down with it? He's got it!
What a catch!
On the ground for an out for Cal U.
Wow, what a catch by Justin Stewart.
Are you kidding me, Stewart?
And so, Matt, that wraps up the weekend set. But yesterday, in a beautiful Tuesday afternoon at Wild Things Park, the Vulcans played a kind of a familiar opponent, the Salem Tigers out of West Virginia, and another good effort by the Vulcans.
Yeah, again, look at the box score there. They only gave up 2 hits as a staff. They used 4 different pitchers in the contest. They got 2 runs early in the bottom of the 1st, and then just added a couple runs here and on. Ended up winning a 5-0 victory over the Tigers. So 3 times they faced Salem, which is an independent school. They're not really in a conference, but they are an in-region opponent for the Vulcans. So it's one of those, at the end of the year, it looks good there for everything. And as I said, Jake McCaskey had 6 RBIs. Well, yesterday he played at first base for the first time ever in college. He's played at 2nd, short, and on the mound. Now he's starting at first base just to see a different kind of lineup. He went 3-4, a couple of RBIs in the contest. Jax Miller, again, in the lineup, actually playing 2nd base this game, 2 runs scored. So, again, a lot of interchangeable parts you see in the majors all the time. Versatility is becoming more and more prevalent in the professional game. And given the athleticism of some of our athletes at Cal U, Coach Conte is doing the same kind of thing, moving different parts around just to get a feel for everybody, see what they can do with conference play actually starting up here this weekend in baseball.
And we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule a little bit later. But we had one more sport in action this weekend, and that was the Vulcan men's women's track and field team. And they had some very good performances as well over this past weekend.
Yeah, it was a unique idea. Cal was the only team in the PSAC competing in track and field this past weekend at West Virginia, while the cross-country team, everybody was going the distance runners were in Lock Haven for the cross-country championships. So the men won a pair of events in Morgantown. The women did as well. And in cross-country, Jonathan Thrush, we talked about him a couple weeks ago in his debut, winning the meet at Robin Park. He finished 7th at the conference meet in the PSAC championships, which is the highest finish by anybody of the Vulcans since 2014. So it was a very nice debut for him. And on the women's side, Sydney Irvine again led the Vulcans and earned all PSAC honors for the first time in her career. So the track, very brief 2-meet track season is done, so those individuals will shift to continue their training and be getting ready to compete here this upcoming weekend or the next couple of weeks, pending how Coach Caulfield wants to work with all the distance runners. But basically shifting right from cross country to track and field, that half of the team, while the remainder of the team is already gone into one event. They're about to go into another one this weekend.
And after a busy weekend of competition, several players received some recognition. We'll start first with the PSAC Pitcher of the Week.
Yeah, Kelsey Barron, again, as a reference with the idea of softball, she threw a one-hit complete game shutout, one-hit complete game in Game 2 against Clarion over the weekend. And so she got that honor there, 5 innings. Again, only 2 base runners allowed in the contest. And then for the Vulcans of the week, she was the only lone one for the PSAC. We gave her the nod on the women's side for her performance in the circle against Clarion on Saturday, not Tuesday per se, because again we award it on Tuesday mornings. So anything happens Tuesday afternoon doesn't get included; it gets looped into the next week. But Jonathan Thrush, how I referenced how he earned all PSAC honors, he got the nod on the men's side. Just again, a freshman, really doing well. He's the top freshman finisher overall in the PSAC meet. There's over 100 runners in the meet, finished top 10. So very impressive start to his collegiate career.
And a helpful tip to anybody that goes into Matt's office and you're wondering how he keeps everything straight. Do not look at his dry erase board. It'll give you a headache right away. So just look at Matt, ask the question. Don't figure out how he keeps everything in track, because it's just amazing to see everything you juggle and so much information. And, you know, you can kind of pause a little bit because the past weekend's over, but you can't pause too long because we have events coming up this weekend. And once again, as of now, as we're shooting this on Wednesday in the afternoon, this is the schedule as it is, but as Matt, we're going to get him a green screen to do a weather forecast at some point during this spring. Matt, there's going to be changes more than likely or possibly. But as of right now, what do the Vulcans have on tap for this weekend?
As I referenced a little earlier, the baseball is starting their conference play, and a new twist this year, the PSAC is sort of double dipping the idea of baseball and softball sharing series this weekend. So baseball and softball will both play Slippery Rock. One day baseball will be home, the softball team will be at Slippery Rock. And then the next day, vice versa, softball will be home versus Slippery Rock, baseball would be at Slippery Rock. So we got that going on this weekend right now. And again, baseball will be home on Friday, softball will be home on Saturday. In addition to that, on Saturday, track and field is competing out at Lock Haven. The rest of the league is getting underway at an early bird open. They call it at Lock Haven, but again, the Vulcans have already competed once. So it'll be interesting to see how they compete again, given more. So PSAC competition, again, West Virginia had some runners from Pitt, had some runners from WVU, obviously, Wheeling, a couple other NAI programs in Frostburg State. So a little bit of a mix and match. This one I expect to see a lot more familiar foes in terms of people on the track that they'll recognize and they'll be seeing throughout the year, just because, again, given the new scheduling for track and field, a lot of PSAC meets, not so much going to different spots across the state. It's going to be a lot of Slippery Rock meets and a lot of different ones locally, but Lock Haven this weekend for them. And then tennis is going to travel and compete at Mercyhurst on Saturday. At some point, talking with the coach is going to vary given the weather. Do they go indoors? Do they go outdoors? And given its courts, if it's indoors, you have to figure out what times are available at what facility. Yes, Erie's a very big city and has multiple indoor facilities, but again, you're still restricted onto what you can get onto and how many courts you can get on at a time, because you need to have multiple courts for a tennis match, or else you're going to be in Erie all day long. And we've both done that, and you want to, given that trip, and you want to be back and forth as quick as possible.
And Steve TV is planning on covering the doubleheader on Friday for baseball and the doubleheader on Saturday for softball. But once again, at this time of season, my advice to everybody, Vulcan fans, is to look outside, see what the weather's doing. And the very next thing, go to calvulcans.com and look at the current schedule and see if there are any changes. If there are, Matt will have all that information on the website. Matt, real quickly before we leave, it was announced this past week that Hulk Hogan will be one of the hosts for WrestleMania this year. And as I know, you're a Hulkamaniac. What's your favorite WrestleMania Hulk Hogan memory?
I think you got to look at him against the Warrior, him against Sergeant Slaughter. I think it was today, actually, is the 30th year anniversary of him and Sergeant Slaughter. So that's a big one there. And again, with WrestleMania being down in Florida this year after last year's postponement, basically, it makes perfect sense given his residency in Clearwater and being basically a staple of the Tampa sports scene in terms of celebrities, especially in the wrestling angle.
And there you have it. That's all the Vulcan athletics in a weekend, and also a little bit of Hulk Hogan trivia for you. So for Matt Keifer, I'm Gary Smith. Once again, you've been watching the Vulcan Sportswire. You're watching it on CUTV Sports 1 on YouTube, and don't forget you can also listen to audio portion of this program on our CUTV and Friends podcast, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we'll see you next week, and go Vulcans.